Hi, I'm Joel Persinger with Practical Defense Systems. What follows is a brief excerpt from a training video I did, 2, 3, 4 years ago on a specific aspect of situational awareness that I call cover and out, or knowing where cover is and where your way out is all the time. So I encourage you to watch it. I think it might help you whether you're working in security full-time or whether you're carrying a gun or just if you're out and about. It's always a good idea to know where cover and out are. Now, before I get started, I will let you know that in an effort to protect this channel from YouTube, I have placed it on a couple of other services as well. So you can watch this video or all of the videos on this channel on YouTube and these other places. So check them out. And I tell all of them this, that no matter where they are, they need to be aware of the following things. Where's cover and where's their way out and what's going on around them. So you have situational awareness, what's going on around me, and then how do I get out of here if I have to, and what can I get behind that might stop or deflect an incoming bullet if I'm in a place where somebody walks in and starts shooting up the place. And unfortunately, we live in a society and a world now where this is happening more rather than less. So it's something we should be aware of. And just recently, the other day, there was a shooting in Texas in a mall. Not a shooting, a robbery. And everybody thought it was a shooting because they heard the glass breaking. And of course, that spread through the mall, and the mall went crazy, and there was pandemonium. In fact, you can see in this video clip that's pretty short, people just were running whatever direction they were running with no particular idea of where they should go or how they should get out in mind. And so I want to remind you, you should know wherever you are, just be aware of what constitutes cover and where is out. So for example, in a mall, there's a few outs. Obviously, there's the obvious outs, which is go out the entrance or exit or whatever that you happen to be closest to. But also, if you go through the stores, generally, depending on how the mall is structured, there is an entrance in the back of the store to receive shipments. And if that's the case, that is a way out of the mall. Same thing in a restaurant. One of the outs is obviously the emergency exits, the main entrance. But also, if you go through the kitchen, there's a shipping entrance where they receive products and goods through the kitchen so that they can cook food for you. So if you're aware of those things, you always know where out is. Now, one of the games I play with I've always played with my family and play with my kids, and I still do, is we'll be in a place and I'll just randomly ask them, okay, where's cover and where's out? And even my wife plays the game, and sometimes they go, oh, Dad, I wasn't looking. We were at, there's a really iconic restaurant in San Diego called El Indio Cafe. It's a little Mexican place just down, kind of within view of the airport right next to the freeway. And we were sitting there and I asked, where's cover? Where's out? One of my kids said, well, Dad, I think maybe there's out. That's the main entrance. I said, okay, what if you can't get there? What if trouble comes through there? Where are you going to go? And the answer was, I don't know. I could go over the counter through the kitchen. Okay, yeah, that would work. And there's a door over there, but I don't know what it is. I said, what about the one behind you that says exit? What I got was, did you see that when you came in? Yeah, I did. This is, it's one of the things I've done for a living for a long time, is make sure that I know where cover and out is, because I've had to deal with bad people. So you should always know where your out is and where your cover is just by taking a glance around. How am I going to get out of here if I need to? And what can I get behind that might stop an incoming bullet? And if you know those two things, then if something happens, like what happened in the mall, you're not running around like a lunatic. You know where you're going to grab your family or your friends or whatever, what direction you're going, and you know what you're going to get behind if you can't get to there, or how you're going to work your way to out, where that may be, and pandemonium doesn't ensue. So everywhere you go, I'm going to say it again because I repeat this to my students a lot, always know what's going on around you. That's situational awareness. Head up, eyes up. Just generally be aware of your surrounding. It's not paranoia. I'm not paranoid. I know they're out to get me. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's not paranoia. It's just being aware of your surroundings. We live in a world that is, most of the time, particularly in the United States, is very safe. And the overwhelming majority of people in the United States are honest, law-abiding people going about their daily lives. But occasionally, some wacko does something horrible, or some criminal does something horrible that could hurt you and your family and the people that you love. So if you're just aware of your surroundings by keeping your head up and kind of glancing around once in a while, then if something starts to happen, you might see it before it does, and you might be able to get out of there. Now, we've got some footage of what actually happened inside this jewelry store that was robbed inside the mall. Now, you saw the people running around like lunatics, but I want you to look at this footage because it's very informative as well. Now, first, you just see people walking in the mall. If somebody did this, I don't know if this is a security camera or it looks like somebody's just using their phone to take pictures of the security footage on the computer. But you see the guard standing there who's really not paying much attention. He looks like he's unarmed, so he's not going to be a whole heck of a lot of help anyway. And you've got a jewelry store, which, according to the report that I read, has already been robbed once. And I will read the news story to you here in just a minute so you know what's going on. In comes the robber. Okay, there he is. Bunch of them. They all come storming in. There's, I think, 7, and the guard is now on his knees or sitting down, and he's not going to help because he's unarmed, and there's not much he could have done anyway. He wasn't really paying attention. So you got this gentleman on the right who's covering up his ladies, and the first time there's an opportunity where nobody's looking, out the door they go. Good job. I thought, wow, okay, that guy knew where his out was, didn't he? He knew where his out was, so he took it, and out he went. Now, you've got some other folks that are trying to plan to get out too, and you got people running around the background. You got some people peeking in. You got the bad guy looking around. He doesn't know what to do. His friends are all breaking glass and taking stuff. And there's pandemonium in the mall. A little drink of coffee here. Sorry about that. And then you got the guy peeking in. You know, and then whoop, there he went. So one guy saw his opportunity, and out he went. Gone, man. So this dude's pretty smart. There's going to be a security guard that comes in here. And when he comes in, I'm going to pause the video for you because I want you to tell me when he comes in the door. I want you to say, I'm not going to hear what you say, but I want you to tell me and yourself, how dead could this guy be because he walked in the door and wasn't paying attention? Now, there he is. And in he comes. Where's the bad guy we've been watching with the gun the whole time? Right there on his right. That's called a lack of situational awareness, and it's a lack of training. Again, I train police officers, and we train security officers, and not so much police officers anymore, although we've done some of that, but a lot of it is security officers, and we train them to be aware of their surroundings and make sure that they don't walk through a fatal funnel like that, like this guy just did. So he just walked in. Fortunately, the crook behind him to his right put the gun away and hid the gun because he didn't want to get shot. I don't know if the gun was real, maybe not. But he just bopped on in. Had the gun been real, this dude could have been on the floor, deader than a doornail, because he didn't look, he just walked in. Now there's another guy coming behind him. Look at this guy, he's a little smarter. He's pieing the corner, see him? He's watching the corner, he's going around the corner, going around the corner, going around the corner, going around the corner. Guess who he sees? Oh, there's that guy, I got him. So, this is one of those things where, are you aware of your surroundings? Are you working the angles? Are you pieing the corner? Have you received some training? Are you really paying attention to who's in there? Or are you just bopping in and getting yourself shot? This guy, even if he was the first guy, could have entered that building and probably been fine. The other guy, not so much. Now, you'll notice that obviously once he comes in, there's another one, and he goes around, and this becomes a kind of a little exercise in dealing with the situation and arresting these guys at this point, which is precisely what ends up happening. Outside of the mall, there was complete pandemonium. Everybody was panicking, running pell-mell, whatever direction. And let me tell you something, if you do that in a situation like that, you could very well end up dead. Now, fortunately, it was not an active shooter situation. People were not walking through the mall, shooting up the place. But that's what everyone thought was going on. Everyone thought there was an active shooter literally walking through the mall, killing people who were patrons of the mall. Well, I ask you, could that happen in the United States? Yeah, the answer is absolutely it could happen in the United States. Has it happened in other countries? You betcha it's happened in other countries. It could happen here. And they chain up the doors or whatever and we'll start walking through the mall and shoot everybody there. Well, if that's the case, you really should be aware of cover and out and have good situational awareness. Be aware of your surroundings. Know where you are all the time so that it doesn't sneak up on you in some fashion and you wish you knew where you were, but you don't. You don't know where the exit is. You don't know where your cover is. You don't know where your family members are. You don't know where your friends are. Your daughter just went that way into the store and you have no idea where she is or how you're going to get a hold of her. You don't know where your son was. Your kids are going two different directions. These are all recipes for disaster. And this is some of the stuff that I teach concealed carry holders in California, as well as security officers. And then when you enter a room, particularly if you think there's trouble in there, well, if you think there's trouble in there, don't enter the room unless it's your job, like it was a security guard's job. But don't just bash into the room like they do in Hollywood. Do what that second guy you saw did. Pie the corner, take your time, I'll tell you what, the time is on your side. Take your time, work your way in through the door so that you don't just walk in there and get shot. I think it's very fortunate that the first security officer was not killed. Now, this is my little discussion on cover and out. Be aware of where those things are. Thank you very much for watching. I hope the video was informative for you, and hopefully it helps you stay safe. Have a great week, and don't forget, remember where cover and out are. You need to know where those are all the time.